Okay. Hello, Eva. This is going to be kind of awkward because I feel awkward recording myself, talking to myself, sitting in my living room. So bear with me. So, my chosen class will be a regular level 4, grade 10 English Language Arts class. This will actually be an LES I will be implementing during my stage at Alexander Galt, where there will be approximately 20 students in the class. We have not looked at IEPs extensively, but I will look them over upon talking to my AT and make the necessary time adjustments and accommodations at that time. The student body is roughly around 940 students with approximately 60 teachers and 40 staff members. The theme I have chosen for my LES unit is climate change, the long-term effects. The guiding question for my LES, which will also be the guiding question for the culminating task: in what ways does how we live today impact how people live in the future? How do our actions or lack of actions affect future generations? The students will be exposed to two documentaries created by the same producer that give light to the global crisis issue we are currently in. The name of the documentaries are An Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore and An Inconvenient Truth Part 2, again by Al Gore. The unique part about the two films is that there is about a 10-year gap between them. So the predictions made in the first may or may not have come true. The students will have an ongoing reading logs to complete for each film, and they are expected to write in them as the film is playing. Once they have completed the reflection, they will be presented with the culminating task. The culminating task will be broken down first by structure and requirements, followed by looking at handouts and different examples. Lastly, they'll be able to construct their own feature article, which is the culminating task, on a stance to the guiding question. So, if we start with the Cooper model, if I can just bring it up, template 2. So, the learning objective is to have students understand how they live today and the actions they choose to take or not to take have an effect on future generations. So, the big ideas, the students will learn that how to effectively take a stance on a subject to ensure that students develop a sense of responsibility for adopting good techniques for discovering, identifying, and writing a constructed opinion on a given topic, in this case, the climate crisis. Skills. The students will be able to draw coherent conclusions on global crisis issues by making inferences and generalizations. Use structures, features, codes, and conventions of a specific text to communicate clearly and enhance meaning, message, in the reflective text. Make generalizations, so choose relevant evidence to support their thesis, summarize or give a precise highlight key points. Identifies and analyzes the codes used in a media text to convey the producer's intentions. So again, the grade level is level 4, grade 10, cycle 2, ELA. The focus for learning is climate crisis and how the choices we make have an impact. So the description of the complex task or culminating task, which is a feature article. The students will be exposed to two documentaries created by the same producer that give light to the global crisis issue we are currently in. The unique part about the two films is, like I said, there's a 10-year gap between them. They will look at a variety of ways that humans have an impact on future generations. They will complete a compare and contrast reflection as a mini enabling task on the two documentaries. This reflection will serve as a response style as well, which is something they have to do by the ministry. The students will apply the knowledge learned in previous classes to formulate a well-informed opinion on the guiding question, which is the do. After being exposed to multiple modes of text, the students will write a feature article with the guiding question, as it is I stated before: in what ways does how we live today impact how people live in the future? How do our actions or lack of actions affect future generations? So if we move to The enabling mini complex tasks. As I was going through my LES, I realized that in ELA, there's going to be more than just 3 mini enabling tasks, which I have stated in my lesson overview, but I will give you the ones I have filled out for this model. So, the first enabling task that I have chosen is a creation of a Venn diagram. So, find the differences and similarities between the 2 documentaries, An Inconvenient Truth and An Inconvenient Truth Part 2. They will be working in pairs and share their responses with the class. So this is a say-do. The tool would be a checklist. Criteria for assessment, the framework of evaluation, would be communicating ideas, engagement in a meaningful dialogue with peers and teachers for different purposes, and communicating for learning, contribution of information and ideas. Links to curriculum, well, this links directly to CD2, which is reads and listens to written spoken media texts. The next enabling task I have included would be the creation of a reflection in comparing and contrasting the documentaries. This is a write, and this is what I was saying would be their response style. So this is a write, and the framework of evaluation is constructs meaning, makes connections, and this will count for CD2. And I forgot one. Oops. Okay, and they will also be doing, a handout called Don't Take That Tone With Me. After learning the basic structures of the feature article, students will receive a handout to which they must complete in pairs. In your group, you will receive a tone written on a card. Discuss the topic and decide how to convey your tone. What details, what words might help you. Write up in a paragraph which you will deliver to your classmates. You may not use the word you're given in your writing. The importance of this exercise is to help prepare the students to develop tone while article writing. It's formative assessment and they will be tracked by the teacher. Okay. So I already gave you a description of the culminating task, but the big ideas that the students will learn for the culminating task is to develop a sense of responsibility for adopting good techniques for discovering, identifying, and writing a constructed opinion on a given topic. Students will understand how their actions or lack of actions can affect future generations and what consequences can arise. Students will discover and be able to analyze the climate crisis trend and how they can contribute to a change. Different people interpret the same kind of media differently. The students will be able to draw coherent conclusions about climate change crisis and the impacts humans make by making inferences and generalizations. Students will be able to use structures, features, codes, and conventions of various modes of text, response, and media to communicate clearly and enhance meaning and message. Students will be able to make generalizations to the media text that they viewed. And lastly, students will be able to identify and analyze the codes and conventions used in different medias to then come to a conclusion about the producer's intentions. So, what's cool about this feature article is it'll be an analytic style rubric, and once they have finished writing their feature article, they will get to record themselves saying their article, and it'll turn into a broadcasting piece, which will be the say. As suggested by you, the analytic rubric will cover both of them, so it'll be a joint mark together, and it's worth 25%. I kind of wanted to go through the outline of my LES with you because I may not have explained things as well as I could have. So, the first lesson, I'll just go over, it's a 12-piece lesson with you, so I'll go over quickly what they're doing in each lesson. So the first lesson is I will do a mini hook, which will get them thinking about global warming. They have to guess the theme. So that's the goal of this activity, which is to guess the unit. Then they will begin to watch An Inconvenient Truth Part 1. They will be taking notes on their reading log, and these reading logs will have questions in them so that they can help get on the right track. So lesson 2.